Hello everyone. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Hello Dr. Rania. Hi everyone. I'm just gonna give it a couple of seconds just for everybody to join so that they don't miss. Hello, can you guys hear me clearly? Can you see me clearly? I'm seeing a whole bunch of hellos. Hello Angie. Hello Alice. Greetings everyone, good afternoon. How's everyone's Tuesday going? I hope you guys are having a really good Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining this live. I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be really helpful. Everyone is joining. Hello everyone. Afternoon to any South Africans out there. Happy Women's Day. It's actually Women's Day in South Africa at the moment, so happy Women's Day to all my fellow South African women. Hello Chevening. Awesome. I'm so happy that everyone is joining. Yay. Thank you, Dumi. You can see me and hear me clearly, right? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Awesome. So I think let's get going because there's actually quite a lot of stuff that we need to get through today. As you know, as you would have seen, that we sent out basically a call for you guys to send in any questions that you might have regarding the Chevening scholarship, as well as the application process, to really start to help you prepare for your application. For those of you that don't know, the applications are currently open. The applications are open. I believe they close on the 1st of November. So you are absolutely welcome to start going to the websites, being familiar with it, and really start to figure out what you need to put in your essays, right? Just by a show, has anybody started their application or wanting to apply to Chevening this year? Is there anyone who's here who's looking to apply or who has already started their application? Let me know. I actually would like to know if there's any people out there. So before I jump into the questions that we received, I just want to put a disclaimer that all of the views and the opinions that I'm going to be sharing today are strictly my own. They're not the views and opinions of Chevening or the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office or any other Chevener. This is strictly my experience, my perspective, my opinion, and really trying to give you insights as far as, as a Chevening scholar, how and what you need to prepare in terms of your application, as well as giving you insights of my experience as a Chevening scholar. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Snothando Mtimunye, commonly known as Snow, and I am currently in London at the moment. I'm live in London, and I am currently completing my master's in marketing at Brunel University in London, and yeah, I'm like knee deep into my dissertation at the moment, so it's quite intense. I got all dressed up for you guys today, but this is not a reflection of how I'm feeling right now, right? So I really hope we have a good session today. So that's just a little bit about me, but I think not to waste any more time, let's jump straight into the questions, right? So the first part of this live, I'm going to tackle questions with regards to the application process. As I've mentioned, applications have been open. So the question we received was, what's the best way to prepare for the application, right? So I think I've received so many questions that are literally on the website. The Chevening website is a very good place to start as far as preparing for your application. The website has mountains and mountains of information that you need to really help you get prepared for your application. So before you even ask any Chevener, if you ask any Chevening alumni, any person, or email the Chevening office in your country, the first place for you to start is the website. Familiarize yourself with the website. Literally, if you go to Google and type in Chevening, how to choose a university, right? It will pop up the exact page that you need to view for you to get that information. So please start by looking at the Chevening website before you even start your application, right? The second thing that I would recommend, and something that I did, was that I went onto YouTube and I literally binge watched as many videos as I could of Chevening alumni who went through the application process. There are so many videos on YouTube of previous alumni or Cheveners, even current Cheveners, that have posted interview tips, application tips, how to prepare for your application, what they did to prepare for their application. And that really helped me in terms of like how I need to structure this application, because this is not like a job application. You know, with a job application, you're just kind of speaking about your career. With this particular application, Chevening application, you really need to deep dive into knowing how to tell your story. Like, you really need to learn the art of telling what your story is and applying different examples or different ways that you have shown the various skills that they're asking for. So for those of you that are not familiar with the application, so there's 4 essays that you have to do with the application. The first one, you have to showcase ways that you've shown leadership and developmental skills. The second one, you have to showcase your networking skills. The third essay, you have to basically relay which university you chose and why you chose the UK and that particular university and course. And then your last and final essay, you have to basically kind of tell us what your career plan is, right? Because ultimately the scholarship is empowering you to go back to your home country and really just transform your industry and transform the spaces that need transformation within your country, right? So there's 4 essays, and it's so very important that within that you really try to relay and tell stories about ways that you have shown leadership, ways that you have shown networking skills. Like, it's not enough to say, oh, a good leader is a great listener, they lead by example and they do this. Show us how you've displayed that you're a good leader. Show us how you've displayed that you lead by example. Like, show practical examples of how you've shown those qualities. Because if you don't, it's just you saying that and you're not really conveying how you've shown it. And yeah, so that's the first piece of advice that I would give. Or the second advice that I would give is definitely look at the YouTube videos. They're really going to help you. And then last and finally, in terms of the best way for you to prepare for your application is, guys, start early. Like, start now. You see, when this live ends, start your application today, okay? And the reason why I say start today is because you also want to give yourself an opportunity to send your application to, or your essays to, maybe other Chevening alumni, or even the people that you're going to put in your references, or any mentors that you have, just for them to have a look at, you know, your application, you know, to give you a bit of feedback and advice as far as how you can improve it. Like, that will give you enough time just before the application deadline for you to kind of do that, right? Send in your application for other people to read over it, to give you advice, give you feedback, edit it, etc. Do not start your application 1 week before the deadline. Like, don't do that. I didn't do that, and it really obviously paid off because I'm here. I'm here, right? Awesome. So guys, just to segue, I see that we're getting a lot of questions. Can I ask you that if you have any questions that I'm not going to cover today, please use the question box at the bottom. So right next to where you comment at the bottom of this live, submit any questions that you may have there, and Chevening will answer them throughout the course of the following weeks. In the upcoming weeks, any questions that you might have, make sure you follow all of the Chevening pages on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, for you to get those updates on the questions that you'll be asking. So make sure you use that question box at the bottom. And then the next question is, which university do I attend and what factors did I consider when deciding? All right, so I am currently at Brunel University, London. It's located in a place called Uxbridge. For those of you that don't know Uxbridge is actually it's former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's constituent. So he's the head of this constituent, Uxbridge. He's the head of Uxbridge and South Ruislip. So that's a bit of a fun fact. So it's a little bit outside of London, but it still falls into the constituents of Greater London. And then what factors did I consider when deciding to study at Brunel? So the way that I went about when choosing my university was a little bit more strategic, right? So in order for you to get the scholarship, you have to be accepted to at least one of the 3 universities that you're going to mention in your application. And how I went about it, and this was advice that I actually got from another Chevener or a Chevening alum. They basically said that I should choose 2 universities that I really, really want to go to, that are maybe prestigious, that have all the rankings, have all the, the things that I want in a university, and then choose my third choice to be a university that I know that I'll get in no matter what. So a university that's a good university, but perhaps not the most prestigious or the most difficult to get into or the most competitive to get into. So everybody, most people want to, apply to the top guys, Cambridge, Oxford, the typical ones. And the problem is that if you don't get into any of the universities you selected in your application, you basically forfeit your Chevening scholarship. So actually, I know of somebody last year who actually got the Chevening scholarship, but didn't get into any 3 of the universities that they applied to. So when you think about the universities that you want to apply to, don't only think about your course or even your ranking. Think about the probability as well of you getting into that university, right? So you know yourself, you know how strong your academic results are, how strong your capabilities are. So really be strategic in terms of, having 2 universities that you absolutely want to go to, but have one that is like, okay, I'm most likely be able to get into this because, maybe it's not as competitive or it's not as prestigious or whatever the case may be, so that at least if you don't get into the 2 that you really wanted, at least you get into your third choice, right? But I chose Brunel primarily because of location. So I knew that I wanted to be based in London. My first choice of university was actually King's College. Unfortunately, I didn't get into King's College, so my second choice was Brunel University, and I got in obviously to Brunel University. My third choice was Warwick University, and I also got into there, but ultimately I knew that I wanted to be based in London, right? So based on location, I just wanted easy accessibility to the city. A lot of the people that I was trying to meet as far as growing my network were here. A lot of conventions, events, conferences happen here. Even the Chevening Summit itself happens in London. So for me, it really was about being able to be in the cosmopolitan city of London, especially because I'm in the creative industry. I wanted to, network with other fellow creatives and really grow my network within the London space and just immerse myself within the culture of being in the city, right? So location was a big factor for me. And last but not least, Brunel actually has a really good ranking as far as being a business school. I think it's ranked in the top 20, particularly in my course. So I'm studying a master's in international marketing, so they ranked pretty well, although I don't advise you to just look at rankings. Rankings are obviously contentious. We don't know who, it's more than just the rankings, right? So but that was obviously a factor for me, is that they offered the course that I wanted to study, and they had quite renowned professors within my university that were published within like the Journal of Marketing, the Journal of Business Management, Harvard Business School Review, really renowned lecturers that I was very, very interested in and kind of learning from as well. So yeah, that's ultimately what really led into deciding to go to Brunel. It was location. It was the aspect of it being a good business school as well, and I liked the fact that it's actually quite a multicultural space as well. I'm coming into London. I'm obviously not from here. I really wanted within the academic space to immerse myself with people that come from different places as well, to understand how the marketing practice is different in different markets and industries and countries, etc. So I really wanted to immerse myself not only in British culture but multiple cultures, and Brunel is actually one of the most multicultural universities. I think they ranked pretty high in terms of that, so that was a really important factor for me. Awesome. So I'm going to move on to the next question. How many times did I apply for Chevening? Okay, so this is actually my first time applying for Chevening. So I did get it the first time around, but I also want to say that I applied for other scholarships as well, and I didn't get into those scholarships. Chevening is actually the only scholarship that I got into, and I think it's sort of quite serendipitous, because I think what I really love, and I've realized why I chose Chevening as well, they chose me, is that I love that it's a progressive scholarship, right? So other scholarships traditionally look at, only funding specific industries, or only funding people that have very, very high academic achievements. What I love about Chevening is that they really focus on soft skills, right? They focus on your leadership skills. They focus on people that want to make a positive change, irregardless of what industry you're in, irregardless of what you want to study. They just want to see that you can add value to that particular industry within your country. So I really love the progressive nature of the Chevening scholarship, and I feel like that's what sets it apart from other scholarships, is the fact that you can be studying anything. There's people that are studying television and film in the scholarship. There's people that are studying aquarium sciences in the scholarship, neuroscientists, people in finance and accounting and law and taxation and climate change and marketing. It's they value that each and every person plays a role in terms of fostering positive change within industries. It's not just specific industries. We all have a role to play to transform our industries in our home country. So really love that about Chevening. Very focused around soft skills and not so much emphasis on you need to be the best in the class and you need to be an academic, etc. I'm not an academic, I'm a creative, but I have good results. I have a good brain on my shoulders. But I am somebody who's in the creative industry, and this scholarship sees my value within my industry. So I big ups to Chevening for that. And then how many times did I apply? So like I said, it's not about how many times you apply. Even if you didn't get into the Chevening scholarship, I know of somebody who's at Brunel, who's a Chevener. It was her 5th time, guys. 5th time applying for Chevening. 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4. For the past 5 years, she's been applying for Chevening, and she got it this year. So I really want to encourage people that, have applied before to really try again. Really give it another shot. Learn from what you may have done, what you could have done differently. Attend the Q&A sessions within your home country for you to get more insight on how you can improve your application. It's not really about the amount of times you apply. Don't be discouraged. Keep applying, keep trying. Yes, it's competitive, but you can be one of the 2% that sits in that seat, and you are 100% deserving. So really, really encourage people, definitely go out there and really try it again. And the great part is that if you've done the application before, all you have to do is tweak your essays here and there, right? You kind of already have your essays on go. So if you've done the application before, try again, use your essays again, but tweak a few things that you need to tweak to improve it, of course. So yeah, do not be discouraged. Awesome. Moving on to questions with regards to life in the UK, right? So we received a question that says, what has been the biggest culture shock in my experience? Hey, you guys, you know what? It really takes you leaving your country for you to realize how little you know about life outside of just your bubble, life outside of living in the comfort of your home, speaking your home language. Even now, I'm trying to enunciate so that everyone can hear me properly, because one of the culture shocks that I think I received was you interact with so many different accents, and a lot of people feel try to sort of understand your accent, and sometimes you'll have mannerisms that you forget that, oh yeah, people don't know what yeah means, or yo, or those things that are unique to me as a South African, other people may not pick up, you know what I mean? So the biggest culture shock has been the language barrier, obviously the cultural differences, that has been a really huge factor. Another factor has definitely been the weather. I think any Chevener that you ask, especially Cheveners that come from places that are always hot, that have good weather, close to the sea, the winter in London, the winter in the UK, guys, is not a winter that you know of. You don't know this type of winter. This winter is, hey, it's cold. It gets really, really cold. It was so crazy because I came from home and it was the end of winter when I left South Africa, and I was coming into another winter when I got to the UK. So the adjustment in terms of weather and the sun setting at 4 p.m., and the daylight saving, the time change. They change from 1 hour behind in terms of back at home to 2 hours behind back at home. So like the time change, the weather, the sun setting at 4 p.m. Yay, it's a lot of things to navigate. So that was a bit whoa, okay, it's freezing out in here, right? So just make sure that when you pack, don't pack a lot of things. You'll get a lot of things that you will obviously shop for when you get here, but just mentally prepare yourself for the freezing cold weather. Then another thing that was a big culture shock for me was, of course, the transport system. So I was driving back at home, right? Like the only public transport that I would take would be like an Uber, a Bolt, those type of stuff. Here, you take buses and trains, obviously, because I'm a student, and you have to figure out how to navigate that system, because you are going to get lost. You are going to miss your stations. I mean, your stops. You have to read boards. And I'm blind. I'm wearing contacts today, but I wear glasses. And if I, God forbid, forget to take my glasses, I have to rely on my GPS. But the problem is the GPS doesn't work underground, right? Because underground in the train station, there's no network. So luckily for me, there's this amazing app by the name of City Mapper. And City Mapper literally has been my saving grace. I still use it even if I know where I'm going. I just put it on to check train schedules, to check bus schedules, to really prepare and plan my trip before I leave the house. And the great thing about it is that it doesn't necessarily work underground, but it will show you what your route is, even if you don't have network. So City Mapper has been honestly the saving grace, because the transport system here can get tricky. So definitely riding in buses, riding in trains, like that's a new one for me. Especially coming from driving, to now relying on public transport. And I must say, the public transport system here is on time, affordable. Well, in London, it's a bit expensive. Outside of London, it's affordable. But like, love it. If I couldn't, I wish I could not have to drive for the rest of my life, because honestly, I wouldn't like trade the bus and the train system for anything. So yeah, that's just a few things. And of course, being a black girl, the hair prices for doing these things on my hair, braids, was actually a shocker for me. But that's a story for another day. Follow me on Instagram to find out about that. Awesome. Moving on to our next question. What has been the highlight and the low light for me? So what has been the highlight and the low light for my experience as a Chevener? So a highlight honestly has been the people. Like the people that I've met here are incredible. People that are doing such amazing work in terms of their careers. People that have such incredible, just their mindsets, and to be in their presence and just to listen to their experiences has been so enlightening for me and so refreshing for me. To be challenged in terms of my worldviews on particular topics, has been such an enlightening experience. And to see fellow young people, creating positive change within the industries, within the countries, has been such an enlightening and inspiring experience for me. So really the people that you meet here, the fellow Cheveners, your Chevening community, like you come in here as strangers, you come in here outside of your homes, you have one thing in common, and that is that you're a Chevener. And that in and of itself is like the first step for you to find that community, to build that relationship. Every time you like walk in a place and somebody comes up to you and say, are you a Chevener? Or like if you have like maybe your Chevening bag and they're like, are you on the Chevening scholarship? And you're like, are you on the Chevening scholarship? And you realize that you're both Cheveners. It's such an amazing experience being part of this community. So the highlight has definitely been the fact that you have this community of people and the friendships that you make, the networks you create. It's honestly been so fulfilling. Another highlight, I got engaged, guys. I got engaged this year. So that has been another highlight for me. During my Chevening year, that's I made a commitment to someone. So that has been really, really awesome. Definitely a highlight. A low light for me has also been the fact that you do get homesick, right? Being away from home is a very, very difficult decision to make. And it's really, really tough in terms of being away, time differences, having to schedule time with your family members, not being able to kind of call them anytime you want to. It's been hard, guys. It's honestly like the mental capacity required for this experience, as fulfilling as it is really, really, it's tough, and homesickness has hit me. I mean, I got COVID in February, and obviously when I got COVID, I had to isolate. And I think that's when I really felt alone, and I felt like, oh my gosh, like I really just want to go home. I just want to go home, I just want to go home. I'm alone, I'm isolating. I even sprained my ankle at a certain point because I was playing in netball for my university. I was in my university's netball team, and I sprained my ankle during practice. That in itself, like I use my 2 legs to get to where I need to be. I walk to campus, I have to get on public transport and stuff. So spraining my ankle was like, it was like I couldn't do anything because it was swollen and I couldn't walk on it. So at times there is a sense of loneliness that you feel, right? Being away from home, being away from your loved ones, missing birthdays and funerals and weddings and like key achievements within your family members' lives, but always remind yourself that you're here, that there's a bigger picture, that there's a purpose, and leaning on to those people that love you to kind of get through this process has been absolutely fulfilling for me. So as lonely as it can be, as lonely as it can get, honestly, the people, my family, my friends have been the ones that have really pulled me through. The reason why I'm still here and I'm on the last finish line to finishing my dissertation. So homesickness is real, but those people that you love, they are the ones that are going to get you through this process. So don't you worry. Awesome, guys. Moving on to questions with regards to travel, right? So we received a question that says, what was your traveling experience like coming over to the UK, and what did you do when you arrived at the airport? Hey, PTSD. Where do I start? So when we arrived in the UK, it was a really interesting time because sorry guys, I have my fan. I'm actually feeling a little hot. Arriving in the UK was interesting because we arrived during the time of lockdown, and they were still doing quarantining. In terms of you had to quarantine for 10 days at a hotel before you could actually enter the UK, right? So when we got here, it was tough because you literally, you're in a flight for 13 hours, right? So you're flying for 13 hours. So what I did is that I left South Africa, flew for 7 hours, and I had a stop over in Abu Dhabi. Stayed in Abu Dhabi for like 2 hours, and then from Abu Dhabi went to London, right? So it's about 13 to 15 hours travel time. It's actually 15 hours travel time. And you're tired, you're cranky, you just want to shower, you want to sleep, So you literally, I got to the airport, get to the airport, and immediately as you land to the airport, you are ushered to a separate section because your country is on the red list. You coming from a red list country, they usher you to a different section, and people that are not on the red list get ushered into a different section as well. So immediately you feel like, okay, I'm on the red list. I'm, kind of being othered a little bit. So that was a very weird experience for me. You go into a separate section for your border to get your passport checked. And it was a really long process, right? I think I had between checking my border, checking my COVID vaccination status, checking my getting my luggage, and then eventually getting into the coach or the bus that was taking us to our designated hotel or our quarantine hotel, took like 3 hours. I was literally in the airport for 3 hours, right? It's okay, cool, sharp. We get there, get on the bus, get taken to our quarantine hotel, and the quarantine process starts, right? So in the first few days, it's nice, you're sleeping, you're getting rest, you're in a hotel, it's nice the first 3 days, right? Then you get to day 4, day 5. That's when your mind starts playing games with you. Now you're getting cranky. Now you're getting, a little bit upset, because now you've been isolated for 4 days. You see people, yes, you can walk out and, interact with people, not really interact, but like you can go outside and for a walk or like to get some fresh air, right? And you start getting cranky because it's like, "Ugh, I'm in London, I'm in the UK, why am I not feeling like I'm in the UK," right? You don't feel like you've landed, you know. But yeah, so went through the quarantine process. The food was not great. The food was not great, but luckily you could still order some food. And the great thing about quarantining, as much as it was a difficult and like not a great experience, is that it actually helped me prepare for it, or the admin that I needed to do as far as my university. It helped me prepare as far as, you know, purchasing the various things that I needed for my room, things like bedding, pots, you know, cutlery, and all those things that I needed to buy. I kind of scheduled it so that by the time I arrived after quarantine, those things were delivered the same day that I would arrive. So it also helped me in terms of doing that. So yeah, I mean, the traveling experience when I came to the UK, it wasn't great. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, it was not nice. But honestly, I feel like I also needed that time to kind of like, okay, really process the fact that I'm doing this, mentally prepare myself for this journey, do the admin that I need to do, submit the documents that I need to submit to my university. And then after the 10 days, I was go. All systems go. I was like, I'm in the UK, let's go. All right. So so yeah, that was how my experience was when I arrived in the UK. So next question. Thank you so much, guys. I see your comments and I see all of your questions. Can I ask you to please use the question box at the bottom right next to the comment section? Unfortunately, because we only have an hour, we won't be able to answer all of the questions, but Chevening will be posting and responding to your questions in the upcoming weeks. So definitely use the question option at the bottom next to the comment section and submit your questions there, yeah? And we'll help you and we'll definitely get back to you in terms of a response. Cool. So next question, have you done much traveling around the UK? Yes, I have. So the great thing about being part of the Chevening community is that you have Cheveners that are all across the UK. You have Cheveners in Scotland, in Wales, in Glasgow, in Edinburgh, in Birmingham, in Manchester, in any and everywhere, right? So I've been to Birmingham. A friend of mine was hosting a Friendsgiving at the end of November. So I've been to Birmingham, really, really great little city. It's quite a party city, like it's quite a hectic city, but it's very calm and yeah, I really enjoyed that experience. Went to Manchester again. I was visiting a fellow Chevener, a South African Chevener. Shout out to Yentel if you're out there. I went to visit her, been to Manchester. We also went to Liverpool because Liverpool is literally 1 hour away. So Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool. I also went to Brighton recently as well. I was visiting another South African Chevener. So shout out to Sinclair if you're out there. I was visiting her, visited Brighton. Of course, as you know, Brighton has the Pebble beaches. So it was actually so nice being close to, you know, seawater and kind of being in a beachy space. Although like it's not really a beach because, you know, I'm from South Africa, but you know, it's beautiful. It's got great waters, and you know, Brighton is a vibe. Brighton is definitely a vibe. So yeah, I've traveled a couple of times outside of the UK, and of course exploring London. I mean, there's so many beautiful spaces within London and also just in the outskirts of London as well. There's so many places to visit. I'm a creative person. I love to explore. The traveling part of this was very important for me. You know, I wanted to really immerse myself within the culture of being in the UK and really, you know, travel and see the various spaces and see, you know, the various tourism attractions that are on offer here, right? And as far as travel costs are concerned, so the great thing about the public transport system here is that it's fairly, you know, affordable. So you can travel to majority of places in the UK via train, right? So you can travel via train or via National Express coach, which is the bus. And literally when I travel, I use the Trainline app. So there's an app that you can download called Trainline, and it allows you to actually book trains or buses that go to various places in and around the UK. Not even in and around the UK in general. So you can get around, you know, different places from Scotland to Wales to even Ireland. Like you can go to almost anywhere in the UK via train or via bus. You don't always have to take a flight. So it's actually quite an affordable system. And the Trainline app has actually been very, very instrumental in that. I actually got a card. It's called a rail card. And the rail card gives you people between the ages of 26 and 30, or students that are younger than that. It gives you discounts on the Trainline app. So when you book a train, you can actually get a little bit of discounts for you to save, which has really, really helped me a lot. You get about 30% off trains and buses. So that has been very, very helpful. And then, of course, getting around London, the red bus, I mean, it's iconic. The red bus is the way that we get around in terms of the London space. I used an Oyster card specifically for students, and that as well gives me savings on my trips. So I think I also save about like 33% on trips on the student Oyster card. The normal Oyster card does not give you discounts. The normal Oyster card is a tap and go, so it's a pay and go. So what you use is the same price for everybody else. I'm a student on a student budget. I want every single discount I can find. So the student Oyster card has been really, really helpful. So yeah, that's just to give you some insights on some of the traveling that I've done in and around the UK. Moving on to accommodation. So we received a question that says, how have you coped with managing your finances in the UK? Whew, that's a good question. So I think the financial adjustment has been definitely another culture shock. You are living in a country that has one of the strongest currency in the world. The pound is the strongest currency in the world. So it's really expensive to live here, right? Majority of your money probably goes to rent, because rent is so expensive. Half of your money, if not more, actually goes to rent, particularly in London. Outside of London, I've heard it's also quite pricey, but I know other Cheveners that have found affordable options outside of the city. But London is a cosmopolitan city. It's the hub, right? So it's a little bit more expensive. So how I've coped is that I've basically signed up to every single possible student website, student discount website that you can possibly think of, from Uni Days to Student Beans, to Amazon Prime, like all of these various sort of discount websites that help students, save 20% off, 15% off, 25% off on their purchases, like from ASOS, from Deliveroo, from various like different places, Superdrug, Boots is not, Superdrug, Monkey, so many like different types of food, travel, drinks, going out, vouchers. Amazon, you get free, if you're on Amazon Prime, you get free next day delivery, on your purchases if you're on Amazon Prime, and you get a student discount on that. Even for Grammarly, guys. So Grammarly is a website that I've been using to edit my essays, and it's been so helpful. And I literally emailed the team and I told them, listen, I'm a student, I can't afford the premium price for Grammarly, can you guys hook me up with a student budget, right? With a student discount. Literally, the team got back to me. I got my Grammarly account at like 60% off. I'm not even joking, for the entire year, right? So don't be afraid as well in terms of asking. Like, I'm not afraid to ask for student discounts, right? It's like anywhere I go, I'm like, do you guys have a student discount? Do you perhaps have, a discount for students? I'm not ashamed, guys. As I mentioned, you're living in a country that has the strongest currency in the world. It's expensive. So any penny that you can save, trust me, it goes a long way. So yeah, that's just some of the tips on saving that I have. And even when it comes to shopping for groceries, like, people, you don't have to go to like an M&S or Waitrose for you to get good groceries. Shopping at like Lidl, Aldi, even Tesco is much more affordable, and you'll find that they sell the exact same things in every single store, right? Because food inclusivity or food access is really important in the UK, right? Food is very important. I mean, even in Tesco, if you go to Tesco at like 4 p.m, they literally designate a little fridge where you can go buy things that are maybe expiring in 2 days or expiring in a day or whatever the case may be. I know that maybe seems like, that's so, No, trust me, it's like things that are still fresh. It's things that are still, they won't sell you anything that's expired. It's just that they want to make sure that they don't waste any food. By not selling it in time. So I really like the fact that you can still shop for things that are reduced prices, and save a little bit, because groceries are also another expense that you're going to spend a lot of your money on, right? So yeah, groceries, don't worry about that. You don't have to go to M&S. Like, there is so many stores in the UK for you to get groceries, for you to get home decor, like B&M, Home Bargains, for you to get stationery. Amazon has a discount for students. If you're on uni days, Amazon has a discount for students for stationery and books. So like, trust me, you will be fine. You will make it work. You will save as much as you can. Awesome. Moving on to questions with regards to welfare. So we received a question that asked, have I used any of the support services at my university? Have I used any of the support services at my university? So, of course, coming into a country that you don't know, coming in as somebody who's foreign to that country, you are going to lean on different services, whether it's medical services, whether it's wellness services, whether it's even your professional development. That is all welfare services that are actually available in my country. At my university. So for instance, Brunel has a medical center, so we actually have a GP in our campus. So I signed up to the GP. So that's one thing that you have to do when you get here. You need to sign up to a GP with your NHS number. I signed up to a GP, and I've been twice or three times for COVID, as well as when I sprained my ankle, and for a medical exam. So my university has a GP and a medical center, and a lot of universities do offer medical assistance as well. There's also, of course, a welfare office where you can go to if you have issues regarding your mental health, regarding your wellness, your well-being. The universities always offer those different departments that you can go to in terms of seeking welfare. Brunel also has a professional development office. So I've been using that professional development office a lot. So what they do is that they help you in terms of your career, right? They help you with job applications. They help you with writing a good CV. They help you prepare for interviews. They help you in terms of, if you want questions on how to improve your CV in terms of the skill sets that you need to have in order for you to, move on and progress within your career. They suggest and also plan a number of events that you can, career fairs, events that you can attend in terms of, networking with future employers, and just developing your skills, your professional skills, because ultimately your life doesn't end in university. You have to go out there and find a job eventually, right? So really utilizing the professional development office has been very instrumental, because obviously when I leave here, I'm going to be going into a work environment. So preparing for that mentally has been also very, very instrumental for me. So don't worry about in terms of your welfare. Chevening in and of itself also has a welfare team, so they are ready available in terms of if you're struggling mentally or you're struggling in terms of academics. They're there to kind of help you and give you assistance as well. So you're not alone in this, right? You don't get here and you just they throw you in the deep end. There's various places and forums and platforms that you can go to in order for you to seek help regarding your welfare all around, whether it's medical, well-being, career, writing skills, academic skills, whatever you need. Your university probably has a department for it. So you don't need to worry. Alrighty, so moving on to our next question. Have you been able to connect with other Cheveners from your home country? Yes, so yeah, guys, you actually connect with Cheveners regularly. I see Cheveners weekly. I see different Cheveners on a weekly basis, right? Beyond just my home country. And I wanted to make it a point that, yes, I wanted to connect with people from my home country, from South Africa, but I also wanted to connect with people outside of my home country, right? So connecting with other fellow Cheveners from different African countries was also very important for me. I have friends that are Ugandan, Kenyan, Ghanaian, friends from Mauritius, friends from Tanzania, friends from Congo and Cote d'Ivoire and Mauritiana. It was very, very important for me to be intentional in terms of really meeting and connecting with Cheveners outside of even my home country. But there's also opportunities, and there's been times where I've also met with other Cheveners within my home countries. Like, for instance, we met up with the High Commissioner of South Africa, Her Excellency the Honorable Nothemba Tambo. She was the former High Commissioner. She has left now. I think there's a new High Commissioner coming in. One of the Cheveners, Undombi, from South Africa, she actually is the one that kind of facilitated the relationship between our High Commissioner of South Africa and the UK. And for us to meet her and engage with her, there's been a couple of engagements with the High Commissioner office in South Africa here, and starting to build that relationship with them as well has been awesome. So also with other South Africans, I've met up for different events, lunches. Obviously at the Chevening Summit, we all got to meet up and have drinks and dinner and like connect and, you know, really give each other an update, you know, about, you know, life in the UK, things we've experienced and stuff like that. So the people that are really going to understand your journey are, of course, the people that come from your home country, right? So those are the people that you're gonna have to lean on in terms of, you know, like, I just want to speak Zulu, like I just want to speak my home language, you know. So it's always nice to have people that you can speak your home language to, people that understand the struggles that you may be understanding, and you'll realize that you will really lean on those people during this journey. So yeah, don't even worry about, you know, will I connect with people in my home country, or, you know, will I find them? Absolutely. You know, Cheveners come here with the intention to meet new people. So don't be afraid to reach out. There's also so many WhatsApp groups. I think I'm on 6, 7, if not 8 WhatsApp groups that are just dedicated to Chevening stuff. London Cheveners, African Cheveners, South African Cheveners, Cheveners in business. Hey! I'm in so many WhatsApp groups, guys, so you don't even worry about it. You have so many opportunities to connect with other fellow Cheveners, so you won't feel alone. You won't feel like you're doing this journey alone. There's people here that are ready and willing to meet new people, so really putting yourself out there is really going to give you a fulfilling experience. All right, cool. And then I'm just looking at time. So as far as have I been involved in my university in terms of any societies or activities, so as I mentioned previously or earlier on in this live, I actually played for my netball team in my university. The gag is, or what's funny was that I was the oldest player in my university. And personally, I don't even think I'm old. I'm 27. And I was playing netball, and I was literally the oldest person, and I was the only person doing masters, right? But I really wanted to keep fit and keep, you know, exercising and make sure that I don't let myself go, because I think when you move to a new country, you just want to eat, and you forget that you need to exercise. So I joined my netball team. It was really awesome. I actually got a dress, you know, that dress I'm gonna hold on for the rest of my life, because I'm like, I got to play university sport again, and I was named player of the match twice. Okay, I'm gonna brag on that. Player of the match twice for my netball team at my university. So that was a really, really awesome experience. There's also various societies. So my faith is really big to me. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in God. So it was really important for me to connect with the Christian society in my university as well as find a church this side that I could go to and connect with and make sure that I keep my faith up. So there's societies like that. There's also the Brunel Business Society that I also joined. That society focuses on just networking sessions, a couple of hackathons, having speakers come in and you know, inspire us and, you know, kind of tell us a little bit more about, you know, certain industries and developments in certain industries, and, you know, how UK's market is different to other markets outside, and yeah, just like those key insight sessions. So Brunel Business School is another society that I'm in. So yeah, when you get here, you know, you can definitely connect with other people within your university as well, other Cheveners as well in your university as well, are probably going to be at your university too. So there's many opportunities for you to connect with people through the societies and the clubs that are available at your university, right? All right. So guys, I've covered... Sorry about that. My throat is dry. I've covered quite a lot in this session. And I think we have about 5 minutes left of this session. And I guess what I want to do before we wrap up is kind of give some advice to prospective Cheveners, people that, want to apply for the scholarship, people that are interested in life in the UK and doing a master's in the UK. I think you really need to mentally prepare yourself for this journey. You may look at other Cheveners that are on this experience and, think that it's all roses and daisies and it's always great and amazing. And yes, it is. It's an amazing experience, right? But mentally, for me, you cannot do this experience if you're not mentally fit and strong for it. I consider myself as somebody that is mentally strong, but I think in this experience, you really underestimate how much your mental health is so important in terms of progressing and really making the most out of this time. So as much as you're having an amazing time, you have to mentally prepare yourself for being away from home, one. Secondly, the cultural differences that you might experience here, two. Three, you probably need to be somebody that is a solutionist thinker, so somebody that is solution driven, because you're going to come across a lot of challenges and problems and you need to figure out how to make it work, right? So Chevening is very instrumental. I mean, we have our program officers that we lean on to in terms of if we have any questions or queries that we might have, any difficulties that we might have, they're there to support us. But the day-to-day stuff that we need to get done, things like looking for accommodation, things like where to find your nearest hospital, things like if you do come across maybe something like a crime, like maybe you had your phone stolen or whatever the case may be, you need to know the different forums that you need to go to for you to get that done. And if you're somebody that's not solution driven, if you're not somebody that can be independent, really think about this experience and really mentally prepare yourself to be somebody that is fully independent, right? So my advice to you as you're writing that application as well, really just try to tell your story. Tell your story in terms of what makes you unique, what makes you somebody that is going to equate positive change within your country, within your industry. Give examples of how you've shown that you're somebody that you are that person. That is the most important thing, is that you need to show ways, because you're just kind of writing an essay and you don't have, somebody there to kind of speak to or relay your message to. You have to be able to tell your story and tell your progression in terms of how you've shown leadership, how you've shown networking skills, what your intention is about joining and studying in the UK, and what you're going to do with this degree. What are you going to do with this degree? What are you going to do with this experience? How are you going to leverage the networks that you're going to build here in terms of when you return home and kind of like creating, transformation within your country and within your industry as well. So really be intentional as far as showing those examples, and honestly, guys, just let it flow. Like, applications are so hard, and applications are often, we want to explain as much as we want to, but really showcase how you're a global thinker. How are you a visionary? How are you a global thinker? I mean, I won't lie, like imposter syndrome really, it played a role in my journey, and it has consistently played a role. But I had to tell myself, like, listen, I need a seat at this table. I need to empower myself because I have plans to transform my industry, right? And I kind of looked at like, are they really going to sponsor somebody that's doing a master's in marketing? I had to battle with a lot of those questions within my mind. And as I mentioned, being somebody that was rejected from other scholarships as well, imposter syndrome really played a role. But you really need to see the value within yourself, to see the value that, listen, I'm here, I also have a role to play. I also have a voice, and I actually want to make real positive change back at home, right? So really stepping out in confidence within yourself. Try again. Please try again if you haven't already. Try again. If you didn't get the scholarship, try again. Keep trying. As I mentioned, there are multiple Cheveners that didn't get the scholarship the first time around. So really, 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 really take the time for you to craft your application and craft your essays. Give yourself time to send your essays to other fellow Cheveners that you can literally DM on LinkedIn, message them on LinkedIn, be like, hello, I'm a prospective Chevener. Do you mind just reading over my essay? I see that you're studying the same thing that I want to study. I see that you're at the university that I'm interested in going to. Can you please just have a look at my application? I'd really appreciate it, right? Cheveners are generally very responsive when it comes to, helping other people that are interested in the scholarship or learning more about their experience. So definitely reach out to other Chevening alumni or current Cheveners that are either at your university, that are maybe in your industry, that are maybe studying the same thing that you want to study, and reach out to them to get some advice on how to really craft your application, right? And honestly, guys, all the very, very best. This experience is life-changing. I've never experienced something like this. And I know it's cliche to say that experiences are life-changing and like they've changed my life forever and not the same and all that stuff. But honestly, it's been that. It's been a life-changing experience. As much as rigorous and competitive as the Chevening application process is, it's worth it. It's worth writing those 4 essays, submitting them, going through the interview process, leaving your job, leaving home, coming here, taking on as much opportunities as you can possibly get. It's worth it. It is 100% worth it. And best thing ever, you leave with a master's degree. I haven't finished my master's degree yet. I'm still in dissertation mode, but you leave here with a master's degree. And honestly, this is just a shout out to Chevening, beyond the fact that, they obviously have given us this platform to be able to empower us. It really is an incredible scholarship. The meeting the people behind the scholarship, the staff that goes into processing applications, helping us, leaning onto them in terms of, helping us within this journey, and them understanding and having empathy towards this journey and realizing that it's not easy. It has been such an incredible experience, meeting the people behind Chevening, the wheels and the people that are doing the work on the ground. So shout out to the staff. But last and certainly not least, it's the people that you meet here, the fellow Cheveners that really make the experience what it is, right? These are people that are gonna be lifelong friends for me. I've made new friends here. I've made potential business partners here. I've met people that are future collaborators with me here, because as I've mentioned before, what Chevening does is that, because there's people from different industries and people coming from different walks of lives, right? We all have a role to play within our industry. If somebody is an entrepreneur and they're going to need somebody that is a marketer, somebody that's in finance, somebody who's in law, somebody who's in climate change, because that is the industry that you're trying to tackle in. Those are all industries that you can tap into within the Chevening community. So being part of a 50,000 plus community is such a fulfilling journey that I encourage each and every person that if you're contemplating on whether to apply for Chevening, do it, and do it today. Submit your applications. Applications close on the 1st of November. Do not wait a week before to complete your applications. Definitely start as soon as you can so that you can craft your essays and really start a journey of a lifetime. But from me, Snothando, Snow, Othando, or Snothando, thank you guys so much for joining this live. We have come to the end of the session. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interactions. I see that we have many questions that have come in from you. Thank you so much for submitting your questions in the question box below. We really appreciate it. Chevening will be responding to all of those questions, well, some of them or majority of those frequently asked questions in the upcoming weeks. So make sure you follow the Chevening pages on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn for you to get responses on your application. I'm wishing you nothing but the very best, and who knows, this time next year you might be sitting right here where I'm at. So make sure you submit your applications. Happy Women's Day to all my South Africans. Mwah! Thank you so much, everyone. That brings us to the end of the session. I really, really appreciate the interaction. Thank you so much, Paula from Brazil. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ario. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Submit your applications, and I will chat to you very soon. Bye-bye.